Welcome to Subramani. I'm going to talk about two words, bubble and cycle, right? And why it is so difficult to spot it. Immaterial of what Naren says that he's got a business cycle fund, right? So obviously Naren's ability to spot a cycle is far superior to mine for sure. But I'm just looking at a bubble and how a bubble could be very different from a cycle. So are we in a cycle or are we in a bubble? So let us look at Tata Power. I mean, two shares which I bought low and I'm very happy and proud and still holding. So I have no clue whether it is a Tata Power bubble or a Tata Power cycle, right? Is it a power cycle that takes Tata Power to such a high price? And what could have gone wrong? So first, when Tata Power was around 65 rupees, somebody said it is going out of the index. That was common knowledge, and therefore people anticipating the sale by the index funds hammered it down to 30 rupees. Right, 30 rupees is the worst price I paid, or perhaps the best price I paid. I also bought something at 28 or 29. Right, so I bought at that price, and after that I watched it go up fast. So what all really happened? Price went up fast. Price went up, I would think, very fast. It became a 5-bagger in just no time, and then it became almost a 10-bagger, at least a 9-bagger as of now. It is about 270 rupees. Now you can look at it and say it's a power bubble because it's gone up too fast, which is completely right. And then there are stories, right? Rakesh Jhunjhunwala said Tata Group is the best group, right? So there were enough stories to support the theory that Tata Power should be at a price of 300. And then people have FOMO. They said, oh my God, I wish I had bought at 30 rupees and I would still be holding, right? So all these stories come and then you don't know what to do. So then out of fear that you will miss out on the further growth from 300 to 3000, you go and buy at 250 or 260, right? And I'm not even talking about it falling from 270 to 220 and then going back to 270. I'm not even talking about that. So is this a power bubble or is this a power cycle? Business cycle or power coming back to power, or sorry, punning on a stupid word, but anyway, is this a time to be buying? I don't know, because I have a similar experience with a company called BHEL. BHEL is a share which I sold in 2007, the 2007 infrastructure boom at 300 plus, I think 304 or 305. The same share was suddenly available in 2022 or 2021 at 25 rupees. I remember tweeting saying in Bombay, Bhelpuri is also not available at this price, so it can't be a bad buy. So I bought at 25, I also bought at 50, I also bought at 70, and I said this is too much, so I sold at 119 or 117 or some price, and then I found it go to 135 and 147 or 145 or something like that within 2-3 days, right? So now take the behavior of how a person should behave. You bought Tata Power at 30 rupees and within a week you saw it at 40 rupees, you were very happy and you sold off, right? One, you could have done that, or at 150 you could have sat with your with yourself and said 5-bagger, what more does one want, so let me sell. 30 has become 150, so it's a good sale. So you sell it off at 150, not a bad deal at all. If you are a momentum investor, this is a fantastic deal for you. You didn't sell at 150, you sold at 270, fantastic, you got rid of it. It is a 9-bagger, that's good. But at 270, again you are given stories saying, oh, now the power industry is about to take off as the number of cars increase, so multiply India's population by a factor of 1 and say so many cars, so many electric cars, so much in the area where Tatas are supplying power, the car per capita car ownership is high, so therefore this share will go from 300 to 3000. Can this story be sold? Yes, of course this story can be sold. Will this work in a bear market? No. But will it work in a bull market? Yes. because such stories will be written, people will talk about it, and people will think it's a good buy. So much so that the Prime Minister of the country stood in the parliament and said, look how much wealth we have created with PSU stocks, right? So these kind of stories will happen. So does it mean that Hindustan Aeronautics, which some of us were lucky enough to buy in 3 digits, is today 4,000 rupees. Does it mean it will go up another 4 times in the next 4 years, right? Can it go to 16,000 in the next 4 years? That's the question to ask, right? Or whether State Bank of India, which has gone up from 150 to 600, now it's taken a beating, it's lower. Will it go from 600 to 2,400? So where is it a bubble and where is it a cycle? What should you do? Now this is very difficult because investing is a lot of science and a lot of art. So some of it is like, take the PSU cycle, 10 years it does nothing, and then in 1 year, like a hockey stick, at least PSU banks have done that, right? So at what stage do you just write it off and say this industry is a no-gooder, it's not worth buying, not worth touching, which is true for BHEL. If you've been holding it from, I mean, think of the guy who bought it from me in 2007 for 305, right? He's never going to see that price, perhaps. I don't know. I mean, maybe BHEL will go to 305, but at 305 it may look completely fully priced or super overpriced. I don't know the word to use there. So here, if it's a company which, does it look attractive when the price falls a bit? I don't know, because BHEL can look very unattractive even at 100 and can look very attractive at 135, depending on how you see the situation of coal power and how much you trust the PSU management. It's not something it's not easy to trust PSU management, because one firman from the big boss and things can go for a toss, like your BPCL. There is no talk about BPCL asset sale, right? Can they sell off parts of the properties in which people are housed? They've got fantastic real estate. Can they start selling off the real estate as and when, as a PSU itself? That will really make it possible for somebody to step in and buy BPCL. Is there talk about it? No. So is the share worth buying? Extremely difficult to say, because ultimately it's a commodity. That brings you back to Tata Power. Is Tata Power a commodity? Yes. Is it a bubble? Is it a cycle? Should you be buying? This is where the art of investing takes over from the science of investing. Sell partially, book profits, keep some cash available, like you sell it at 270, Tata Power at 270, you find it coming down to 235 or something like that, and you're making good money. Maybe you should buy it back, but for that you have to keep cash. Does it make sense to sit in cash? These are all very difficult questions to answer. So where are you in a bubble and when are you in a cycle? Because at the bottom of the cycle you should be buying. So some of the questions to ask is, at what price is the share attractive from a dividend point of view? This is my definition, right? So from a dividend point of view, for example, Coal India is attractive at a price of say 200, 205. It is definitely attractive from a dividend point of view, and I'm assuming that the dividend will continue for the next say 10 years. I mean the 30% payout or whatever it is. So therefore, you know that the price at which I would be happy to buy Coal India is 200, 202, which is perhaps my last acquisition price, or maybe about a little higher also. So which means when the price goes to say 300, it does not scare me, because I know that 100 rupees of cushion is available and my cost is way on an average it is much lesser, because I started buying at 117, right, or 119, and I bought again at 117. So therefore, if you have built in some cushions, then you perhaps have the ability to wait. So the question is, how much of it is art, how much of it is science, how much of it is patience, how much of it is you forgot about it and therefore you made money? It's very difficult to say, right? So like Naren says, you should have a hobby so that you take your mind off the markets. You don't log into the markets. I remember today's when I'm recording, last 2 days I don't even logged into the market. I have no clue what the value of each of my portfolio is, or each of the share is. I've just not seen it. Ability to sit tight, ability to understand that buying Tata Power at 30 or BHEL at 25, a tremendous amount of luck. Understanding that to buy PSU takes guts, because it could be a PSU bubble, it could be a banking bubble, it could be an SBI bubble. Are we saying that in the last year or two, all the PSU banks and all the PSUs have become completely squeaky clean, and all the employees have a fantastic morale, and everybody wants to work hard to increase the EPS of the bank or of the PSU in general? I don't know, but can one CEO stand up and say, this is what I have done and this is how the earnings have improved and therefore the PE is justified? Again, very doubtful whether they will be allowed to speak that language in the public domain. Is the government planning a big sale of PSUs in this boom? I'm sure they will do that as the first thing as soon as they come back to power. They don't want to do it now, but as soon as they come back to power, they'll sell. But that is typically like any promoter, right? If the share price is high, you would like to sell. At that stage, do you want to be buying in the market? Do you want to be applying? All these are questions which you have to answer. I don't apply in PSU IPOs. Thank you.